everyone. Welcome to the Obelisk Lounge. My name is Justice, and today I'm going to be demystifying the Akashic records for you. The Akashic records are one of the most intriguing spiritual mysteries out there. And so, in this video, I'm going to be breaking down what they are, why they matter, and how exploring them can help you live a more purposeful and connected life. So, whether you are new to the records or you have a little bit more experience, I'm going to be going deep enough for really all audiences to understand. Some of the information that I'm going to be presenting is information that I collected from the records myself, and that I have experience working with clients in their records, working with my own records as well. And then also some of the information is going to be coming from one of my spiritual teachers as well that I'm going to be presenting. So shout out to Dr. Latoya Davis. But let's go ahead and get started. So the table of contents, I'm going to be breaking down the etymology and the location of the records. I'm going to be talking about the importance of them and how they can assist you in your life and what that looks like. I'm going to be introducing some lesser known information to you, and more specifically, some information that you can't find on the internet that I collected from the records myself, because I am somebody, I do not like to regurgitate information. I like to research things and experience and explore things for myself, for my own understanding, especially when it comes to spirituality. I just don't like to just regurgitate stuff that I pick up from a book, or especially stuff that I see on, on the internet, by people. Because of the gifts and the talents, that it is that I do have, I like to go seek the information for myself because I'm a truth seeker. That is my purpose. One of my purposes in life, is to seek and to reveal the truth of things. And so, boom. And I'm going to be getting into some myths and misconceptions, and I'm going to tie a bow on everything. So let's go ahead and break down the etymology. So the Akashic records, that name, that word derives from the word Akasha, which is the Sanskrit word for ether or open space. Ether refers to the fifth element. And so when we get into the location of the records, I want you to remember, what the word Akasha means. And again, that means ether. And ether is the fifth element. And so when we talk about ether, ether is beyond earth, water, fire, and air. Ether is the subtle essence that pervades everything and connects all things in the universe. And so when we talk about the word records, this implies that these are the quote unquote written records of all experiences, thoughts, dreams, events that have ever occurred or are occurring or will occur. The records even keep up with the changes of the trees, that you see in the background, and the water and the rocks, the insects, animals, like literally all there is and is yet to be, the records keep note of. So, where are they located, Justice? Well, audience, they are located on the astral plane. The Akashic record is located on the astral plane, which is located in the fifth dimension, hence this little diagram that I designed for you. So, I like to think of it as a bubble inside of a bubble for people, for some of my clients that might struggle to understand the concept of it. I like to explain it as a bubble inside of a bubble. So if you want to access them, this is where you're going to go. And this is where you are going. So the astral plane, the fifth dimension, the Akasha, and then boom, you have the Akashic records. Okay, so remember how Akasha is the fifth element? Yes, fifth dimension, fifth element. Same coin, different side to look at things. So also another thing I want to talk about really briefly is, if you want to access them, again, this is where you must go. But obviously, the fifth dimension isn't a physical place you visit with your human body. It's on the astral plane. So you go there with your mind or your spiritual body. And we have multiple spiritual bodies, by the way. The most basic spiritual body that we're all born with is our You can call it a dream body, or our astral body. That's the body that we use when we're dreaming, and going to different places, when we're astral traveling, when we're lucid dreaming, literally when when we're meditating, maybe when we're even accessing different realities through a trance state. That is the body that it is that we are using, and that's the basic body that all of us are born with. Some of our other spiritual bodies are things that you have to develop over time, through certain principles and spiritual practices and things like that. So, how can you access them? So, you can access the records. Obviously, during meditation, you can access them via hypnosis, a sleeping state, a waking state, through astral travel, in a deep yet elevated state of consciousness, like super elevated state, which is the state that I'm in when I'm working with my clients in the Akashic field. Or you can get there by working closely with a member of your spiritual court, like a particular guide, and that guide might be an angel or an archangel or an ascended master, a deity or an elevated ancestor. They can also help you to access the records as well. And so when I'm working with clients in a reading, I'm accessing this dimension in a waking state. So I do meditate to reach that elevated state of consciousness to get in there, but I'm not in a meditative state when I'm in there. I'm very communicative. And so, going back to also what I was saying before, the Akashic field is a plane of consciousness that literally connects all life and experiences beyond space and time. It is a place of absolute love and non judgment. So, no harm can be done to you while you're in the records, and no one can access your records either without your permission. And I'll talk about briefly why that is a little bit later. So let's go ahead and move forward and talk about their importance and how they can help you in life. So I love the records because they have contributed to a lot of my spiritual knowledge, understanding of things, and they've also just helped me with spiritual growth and overall development. And they have helped some of my clients who book those readings regularly as well to gain insight in different things. And so, in many spiritual traditions, the Akashic records are seen as a powerful tool for self-discovery and healing, which is what most of us use them for. The information contained within them can offer insight into your life's purpose, karmic patterns, unresolved issues, soul origination slash group, and even help you understand your soul connections with others. Um, I've had clients in the past that, were able to resolve some or get an understanding of why they go through certain things with their parents, or why, they go through certain things in relationships, like at a deeper soul level, like why, those certain experiences happen. And they've been able to gain, even myself, with different situations and events in life, gain a deeper understanding of why that is. And with that why, sometimes there might be a clearing or a healing that needs to follow along with that the masters and keepers of the records will prescribe, or just understanding the root of that thing will also help to mitigate the continued stress, and just the continued being unsettled, basically, is what it is that I'm trying to say. It will help you become less unsettled, about those different things. The masters and keepers of the records are beings that are totally objective, and they're to give you the answers to the questions that it is that you come there with. They won't, I will say that they won't offer up information freely. So it's best to come with, your how, your what, your why, your when, and your where type of questions. And the more you visit the records, or the more comfortable that you get with the records, you can take a more conversational approach and proceed with the tell me about so and so, or what was significant about so and so, or even just depending on how developed your spiritual gifts and talents are, and different things like that are like the things that are very unique to you. You can also still take a more conversational approach as well. So by accessing your own records, you can gain a deeper understanding of your destiny and how the different challenges, and lessons that your soul is chosen to experience in this lifetime. You can have all of those things explained, so you can gain the advice on how to overcome things, that have a stronghold on you, right? Because some of this stuff, they're strongholds that really need to be broken. They can literally, depending on how you use them, they can literally help you to level up your life. You can ask the right questions. If you ask the right questions and you actually follow the suggested advice, because they're not going to tell you what you should do. They're it's suggested advice. It's the answers to whatever questions that it is that you have. Um yeah, and they also, like, they're not going to tell you what you should do, or what you have to do. They aren't dictators. So if you ever have that kind of experience in the records, you're either A, not in there, or B, you're unable to perceive the truth for whatever that reason may be. And so now let's dive into some truth and misinformation. It is I'm a little bit sleepy. I started recording this at 4:44 a.m. So excuse me if I'm pausing a lot. I am a little bit tired, but I did want to get this information out to you guys because I've been sitting on this, I want to say, for like a month now, but I've just been so busy just with life and developing other things as well. But yeah, so excuse my tiredness. So let's get into the truth and misinformation. The truth and misinformation. Let me skip this because I'm gonna come back to this slide. So information that you won't find on the internet, and this access via hypnosis part, ignore that, because that was on the other side. That's something that you can find on the internet about the records. But one thing, they gave me a lot of information actually that I can share, but some information they gave me I cannot share, and some things they did not tell me also, so that I would not share as well. But I also didn't ask either. And just out of respect, let me just take my time and go through those things to make sure that I don't trip up and share something that should not be. But I don't think I have anything on this list that shouldn't be. I only put certain things, but on the screen, I'm looking at my script to give you all additional information. But yeah, but anywho, so this is information that I found. Sorry, not found. This is information that I gathered myself from the records that you're not going to find on the internet. So the first thing being that you can go there to refine your soul contracts. However, there's a caveat. Okay, actually, there's multiple caveats. I'm not gonna get into all of them, but they have to go through the court of appeals. And I asked them, I'm like, there's a court of appeals. They said, yeah, we have, an Akashic high council, that it is that, when you go there, you have to refine and if you want to refine your soul contract, you have to submit an appeal to the Akashic high council. I was like, OMG, there's an Akashic council, and not just regular council, but a high council. And so after you submit your appeal to refine your soul contract, that actually has to be approved by the creator. Okay, and the creator's separate counsel as well. So you just can't go and refine your soul contract aimlessly, because I will say that, when we do certain things like that, to that degree, it it can really ricochet and impact multiple realities, multiple areas of our lives, multiple people, in their lives, and different things like that. So that is something that you just don't go and do aimlessly. And even if you try to, they're not gonna let you. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, you can try if you want to. I wouldn't, but you know what I'm saying. But yeah, you just can't do certain things all aimlessly, because it affects and impacts too many people and too many things within the fabric of our creation, within the fabric, of our omniverse. And it has to be approved via the Akashic High Council and the creator. I didn't ask them about time frame or anything else. They just boom, because this was a long session that I had with them to gain some of this information. I was in there for a good minute collecting information. But anywho, This is also a place, where you can receive attunements from certain celestial powers and different beings. So, different angelic powers, different Buddha powers, ascended masters, really any type of spiritual being that is for um evolution, that means you well, that means humanity well. You can go there to receive attunements and things like that, from them, to help you in various areas of your life. The Akashic Plane is also where the Ascended Masters or other secret and mystical organizations hold their retreats, their meetings, and their mystery schools. So, those things are held in the fabric of the Akashic Plane due to its sanctity and its protection. So, again, even with me giving you all this information, there are different rules and bylaws and things that it is that you have to be accepted into, you know what I'm saying, and that you even have to follow to even go to some of these things. Now, I will say that some of us, probably those of you that's watching this video, to even be interested in the topic and click on the video, I'm sure you do belong, to different mystery schools and different things like that. And there was something that I wanted to say about that, but I can't remember what was it that I wanted to say about some of us, probably all of us, belong to one. Oh, missions. I wanted to talk about different missions. And so a lot of the times in your dreams, when you might find yourself in a school or in a desk or in a library, some place where it is that you're learning, or you might be like with a teacher or some type of guide or something like that. Those are your mystery school trainings. So if you've had dreams like that, more than likely you belong to a mystery school. Even if you're watching this video to even be interested in this topic, I'm pretty sure you belong to a few mystery schools, on the astral plane, that you just may not be aware of in your waking life. And so, we have different missions and things like that, that we go out on Earth, being one mission, one of multiple missions that it is, that we go out on. And so a lot of the times when we are dreaming, or when we are meditating, or when we're getting some type of vision, usually it's one of our spiritual bodies, or certain parts of our consciousness that are learning different things that are mystery and magical schools located on the fifth dimension, located on, and specifically, the Akashic plane. So not necessarily the records themselves, but the Akashic plane, okay, that we talked about earlier. And we do that because of the sanctity and the protection that the Akashic field has. You just can't go up there warring. You can't go up there hexing and trying to curse, and trying to gain information on people for nefarious reasons, on the Akashic plane, which is one of the reasons why I love it so much. It's just a place of just love and non-judgment, Um, but there's also rules and order there too. You just can't go up there doing whatever the hell you want to do. You know what I'm saying? But certain humans who have heightened spiritual progression and abilities can go there, to attend their schools and retreats. But of course, those things have to be done with prior approval. Humans who have certain gifts that are like out of this world, like telepathy, flying, different things like that, levitation, attend the schools on these planes to learn how to harness those things and develop those things even better. And even some gifts and talents that I can't even openly talk about, on YouTube, they go to these schools to learn and to perfect that craft. So, and also one other different thing, and they said that I could share this, but I even hesitated myself for sharing it, because I'm like, well, they know more than me, but I'm just like, people can be real ignorant, you know what I'm saying? But use this information that I'm about to share, at your own risk. Okay. This ain't got nothing to do with me. And more than likely, you probably won't get far if you try to do something anyway. But the Akashic plane has an opposite counterpart. So the records themselves do not have an opposite counterpart. There's only one, that one located on the fifth dimension on the Akashic plane, okay? Or at least one for our omniverse, for our Yeah, for our omniverse, there's one. But the Akasha itself, that fifth element, that open space within the fifth dimension, has an opposite counterpart that a lot of your left-handed mystery schools and magical societies hold their meetings, and their retreats and different things like that. And those and that space is still has order and different rules and principles that it has to go by and operate on as well. So again, so even though that opposite counterpart exists of the Akashic plane, there's still rules, and order even in that space. And let me see. Another thing that I want you all to keep in mind, if you want to do something do something in secret, and this is like for people who are like very 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 spiritually advanced. I don't know if any spiritually advanced people would be watching this video. They might be, I have no idea. But for people that are like very 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 spiritually advanced, right? Spiritually advanced, like when it comes to like dreamscaping, and when it comes to um I'm not gonna say that. I'm just gonna stick with the dreamscaping. Um, when it comes to that, anything that it is, that you want to keep a secret, anything that it is, that you want to do, you that is non-nefarious. Okay, you cannot be trying to harm anybody, and I'm not just saying that to say it, like I mean like that, like you literally will not be able to, like it's not happening. And I don't know what the ramifications would be if you did. I didn't even ask, because it's not something that I'm interested in doing anyway, so I didn't think to ask it. But just FYI, like anything that it is that you do want to do, though, that's non-harmful to yourself or others, you can actually do it on the Akashic plane. However, of course, you have to get approval. And so think of like, creating your own like little universe, or your own like little place, of existence, like maybe your own home and house and different things like that on the astral plane. You have to go there, and different things like that have to be approved, for you to do that. And that's a deeper topic for a different day because some of you may be like, huh, what like I can already hear it now. But yeah, that's a deeper topic for a deeper for a different day. But like I said, anything that you do on the Akashic plane, anything that it is that you want to set up on the plane, it has to be approved by the council. And even certain things even certain things have to go beyond the council to the creator for approval. So you just can't, like I say, just can't, or like I keep saying, you just can't do what it is that you want to do. I want to emphasize that. Like it's not about doing what it is that you want to do. Like there are rules and principles that must be respected and must be followed. Okay. I don't know what the consequences are of not respecting and following those things, especially for those of you who might be hard-headed on a persistent and regular basis, or persistent with your hard-headedness. I don't know what the consequences of those things are, but just FYI. Now let me go back to the lesser known information that you may or may not find on the internet, that you will most definitely find maybe even in some books. Um but the Akashic plane is ever evolving. So one of the more profound aspects of the Akashic records is that they are not just static historical records like here on Earth, but they are dynamic and ever evolving, just as the world around us is evolving. The collective consciousness, is where the or humanity's collective consciousness rather is where it's housed, it's housed in the record. So it encompasses not only individual soul journeys, but also the shared memories and experiences of all civilizations across time. This includes the thoughts, deeds, beliefs of entire cultures, even ancient and lost societies like Atlantis, or Mu is also known as Lumeria. Some of you may know it as the Olmecs, the Dogons, etc. Like they can tell us the origin of our soul, which can explain why we may do certain things, why we may not like certain things, why we take certain interests in certain industries. The records offer access to universal wisdom and human evolution, so spiritual development and the lessons that have shaped us as a collective. Through them, we can gain insights not only into our personal paths, but also into humanity's larger story. So I like to use them to learn about and to explore other ancient civilizations as well, which is some content that I'm going to be bringing to you all. Within the coming year. So be looking out for that. So be looking out for that type of information. You can also go there obviously for multidimensional healing. So, they're not only used to gather information, but it's a place, for multidimensional healing at a soul level. When I first started journeying into the records, I used them for this purpose a lot. I did a lot of healing in my records when I first started going into them. It's been some years. I can't remember, but it's been it's been a hot minute. I'm a level 3, and for those of you that don't know, I'm a level 3 Reiki master. So I primarily did this by sending Reiki up into my records, and I also did that for some of my clients as well to help alleviate just different things it is, that they were going through, and even myself, have experienced in life. I did that by sending Reiki up into my records to help release any emotional and mental baggage that I just did not need. And it helped a lot. I need to go back and do some more multidimensional healing too, because it's just a great tool for just overall spiritual evolution. And when I say spiritual evolution, like I mean that in the totality of the word, like beyond probably even what you are thinking now. Um, and like I mentioned, I've also done this for some of my clients as well, and they have had some really good reports. So it's very effective. I used to offer it as a service on my website. I might go back and put it up there. Reiki healing in the Akashic records. I might go back and put it up there. I'll see. See that session takes a lot of time. It takes a lot of time, but so yeah, so I might go back and put it up there if I get any requests for people who are interested. But anywho, all in all, when using them for the purpose of healing, they are very effective for clearing any negative energetic imprints at the soul level, and even things that are carried over from past lives and even ancestral lines. Yeah. So now let's go over some myths and misconceptions. So one of the myths and misconceptions is that they are um for only for special people. No, any and everyone can access them. There are some nuances though. I'm going to share a story briefly, but one myth about accessing the Akashic records is that is reserved for only a select few of people with special gifts, or abilities. While it is true that some individuals may have a natural affinity for accessing the records, everyone has a potential to connect with them. There are various caveats that can come into play. For example, one of my good friends who actually we were trained by the same spiritual teacher when it comes to the Akashic records, she had a hard time going into the records, and it was due to I can't remember all of the details of the story, but I want to say that it was due to some type of persecution that she experienced in a past life, and it was impacting her ability to go up into the records in this life. But our teacher, she was able to go in and clear all of that stuff out so that she could begin to finally access her records, because she would get up in there and it would be just like totally black, like she did not see nothing, like no, and she's not a seer anyway, or a person with visions, but she could tell like that there was nothing, or a person that has visions, but she could just tell that she's like, girl, I'm not in there, I'm not getting nothing, like I'm not picking up on nothing, like nothing. I don't see, hear, feel, know, sense, taste, smell, nothing. You know what I'm saying? But my teacher, of course, she was able to go in there and clear some of that stuff out, so now that she can access. So there is a reason for that myth, but again, you won't know until you try, if there is, something that might be, blocking your ability to go into the records. And sometimes some people, they can't go into other people's records, which is a good thing, even with permission, right? Because you can't go to somebody else's records without permission anyway. But even with permission, like, some people can't do that either. Sometimes that's something that cannot change. Sometimes the only thing that you can do is go into your records, and different things like that. And there's really no purpose or point in going into somebody else's records unless you have a client that you're working with. You know, yeah, or unless maybe you want to practice, developing, accessing them, with a trusted individual. But if you don't have clientele, there's really no point, in you going into other people's records. Uh, but yeah, practice and readiness. So, one other blah 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 misconception, is that it's a magic book that gives you all of the answers that it is that you need, and it's like, no. Practice and readiness yield accuracy and justice. Get it together. Practice and readiness yield accuracy and excellence. Again, y'all, it's early and I'm low key sleepy. But some people believe that accessing the records is like opening a magic book that automatically gives you all the answers. In reality, accessing the records is a deeply personal and spiritual process that requires practice, patience, and inner clarity. Hence why, it's best to meditate, before accessing them. And sometimes, you might end up accessing them like in your dream state, like when you're not even aware, that you're going there and different things. But it's not simply about asking a question and receiving an answer instantly. The records work in alignment with your soul's readiness for knowledge. So, having a well-oiled and developed psychic receptor will help you to ensure that you are receiving accurate and true information. The masters, keepers aren't going to tell you lies about yourself, and they aren't going to be forceful with you. So make sure that you ground yourself in the highest truth, like set the intention for receiving the highest truth, before practicing, so that you can release any blocks your ego might put up. And also, don't attempt to go into someone else's records just because you watched this video. Okay. Even if they give you permission, practice on yourself first. Get to know yourself and your blueprint first. Like, take time to do that. Okay. Before going into other people's stuff or asking people permission to go, into their stuff. Another misconception is that the Akashic records can predict the future. So while they offer insights into potential outcomes and things that are ever evolving and ever changing, these are just multiple paths that can be available to you based on, the decisions and the choices that it is that you make, because we have free will, you know? So they're not a crystal ball. The future is fluid, and the Akashic records show possibilities, not fixed outcomes all of the time. Your actions, choices, and free will are what will ultimately shape the future, and the records can guide you towards a path of alignment, towards a path that will be most fulfilling, to you, but they are not set in stone. And one other thing that I wanted to bring up before I conclude the video is I want to talk about aloneness. So when you access the records, you're not alone. Okay, it's not just you in there. Um Okay, let me just go back to what I was saying earlier. So remember earlier how I kept saying that, it's a benevolent space of love and non-judgment. No harm can be done to you, and you also can't harm others. Well, that's because they are protected within their own dimensional plane, like we talked about earlier. And two, they are protected by the masters and the keepers of the records and the Akashic Council, and probably other, councils, and entities that it is that I'm not even fully aware of. And when I say entity, I don't mean like a negative or adversarial energy. Like, I'm talking about like different uh bylaws and principles and orders and different things like that. You know, um yeah. So my favorite thing about the records is that no one, and I mean no one, can literally access them without your permission. I know I keep talking about this, but I just really want to bring it home. It's not, it's just not happening. Even with some of the Akashic record readings, that you see on YouTube. And I say this, with love. Those diviners aren't accessing your records. Instead, I think that they're just simply gathering information based on the energy around you or the collective consciousness, which is why sometimes if you watch them, you might feel like it resonates, but they're not accessing your records. That's not happening. In fact, to protect the person from any intruders, the masters, keepers, and loved ones in the Akashic record will sometimes give people incorrect information about you. Okay, to shoo them away, especially if they're very persistent. Sometimes they will just give them some information about you that is not true, or they may find themselves confused, with the information that it is, that they are getting. Let me see, what else do I have on my list to talk about before I end the video? They cannot be bribed, and they are very powerful, and they are not to be messed with. Okay, so always be respectful. Act like you were raised when you approach the beings in the records, and use your manners. Okay, act like you were raised, even if you wasn't. Okay, even if you were not raised, act like it and use your manners. Um, but it's a place of just love, the highest truth. So hope, compassion, respect, and objectivity. It's a great place to meet and interact and get to know your spiritual court, especially to do so safely. I have collected and learned so much information about the various types of spirit guides through working with some of my clients in their records. I love learning through experience, especially about anything having to do with spirituality. So I give thanks, to my clients, and even, myself and my friends and my family, um, who trust me, to to read for them and different things like that, so that we can all grow, and evolve and things like that together. But so in conclusion, the Akashic records are far more than just a spiritual repository. They are a living, evolving field of consciousness that holds the wisdom of not just your soul's journey, but humanity's collective history and future potentials. They offer access to the deeper layers of understanding, healing, guidance, and just overall, empowering us to grow, healing, evolve on a multidimensional level. So if you want to schedule um an Akashic Record session or reading, you can click the link in my description box. I offer Akashic Record readings, cartomancy readings, which are some of the readings that you all see here on the channel with the playing cards. I also offer hydromancy sessions, and healings that I offer are Reiki, and then healing also in the Akashic Records. I don't have my Reiki up on my. Did I take it down off my website? Because I really only offer it if it comes up, like if somebody, needs it. But I might go ahead and add it back as a service for anybody that would want to book and that needs it. Reiki works best when you have multiple sessions, kind of like working out, or brushing your teeth. Like, you just can't do it one time. It needs to be repetitive and continual for the effects to be long lasting. Um, but yeah, let me see. So with that being said, I don't have anything else. So I will either see you on my calendar or I will see you in the next video. I'm so happy that I was able to go ahead and get this video recorded this morning for you all. So I hope that you all enjoy. I hope that you all gain some new information, learn some new and interesting things for you to explore. And I will talk to you later. Have a good one.